Hello everyone, it's Sally. Welcome to my Minecraft Let's Play. So I only started recording this like midway through, like this journey, which is basically going to be like a pretty extended journey toward like eventually getting to the Farlands. I'm not sure when exactly that's gonna happen. However, I kind of made this world just to be like kind of nomadic, just like explore as much as I can, like in beta 1.7. It's, I don't know, I kind of have always wanted to make a Minecraft Let's Play kind of like this, like just showing around my world and my projects. But unfortunately, a lot of like the worlds that I wanted to display kind of got corrupted or deleted. A lot of big projects that I had last year, disappeared because of that, basically. And it's also, like a matter of like limitations and like time and fucking, I don't know, just like maybe like interest, storage, time, like recording all of these Let's Plays and then editing them, because like you're gonna notice in this video that there are a lot of like cuts because I take too long either to like craft or place blocks or organizing my chests or pausing the game. It's like, I take a lot of fucking time to like to work on everything. First of all, I wanted to start recording when I found this like really cool mountain. Like it's like terrain generation in beta is so like iconic, like for a reason. And this mountain in particular was really cool. I built like a little fort here. I'm dubbing this like after the fact because for one, my PC microphone is terrible. So like, like it sounds like shit when I mix it with like, mix it with my game audio. So I'm recording this on my phone where it's like higher quality and I can actually like, I don't know, just actually be heard, and then I can place it on top of like the gameplay. I'm gonna change that once I get to, like episode like 4 or 3, I don't know, because I already recorded like footage for like 3 episodes. This is gonna be mostly uncut. It's just, gonna be edited with stuff that is just like obviously obviously redundant, like as I said. And I started off with like this little base, and I made basically all my bases prior to this point were just like little cobblestone mini fortresses, just to pass the night. And like there's also oh god, there was a creeper here. No. I always make sure that my fucking dog doesn't get near any hostile mob, alright? I'm very careful with that. I man. At least like what I was saying was that I can theoretically just like, just set a bed with a torch and that will be kind of good enough. But something I also wanted to do with this world, since I'm gonna be completely nomadic, I'm gonna keep going, further and further to the, northwest. Basically, that's like my main point of direction. I don't know. Is it northwest or northeast? axes. Who understands these? Who who understands geography? Anyway, I do like geography. It's just I'm pretty bad when it comes to like I don't know, like geometrical axes. I'm kind of especially dyslexic with it. But I'm just going from my direction. It seems like I'm going you know, northwest, I don't know, type shit. Here I'm like, ooh, fuck, yeah. Speaking of, every time my dog takes even a little bit of damage, I immediately, I'm like, no, give enough, take all my fucking meat, fuck it. Man, this is, I named him Zeehond, which is a sea dog in Dutch. And, man, no spoilers, but, you know, it does hurt, and he has, you know. Yeah, we'll get to it later. So most of this Let's Play is basically me just like fucking walking around, and I wanted to also like add some like of my personal commentary with this, and like just like I don't know, maybe like my general thoughts, and right now I'm kind of head empty a little bit. I have a ton of ideas, and I'm working on a ton of stuff, but I'm also like kind of, you know, struggling to put a lot of it together. By the way, if you see me like see like brief glimpses of the menu like that, it's because yeah, it's just like I obviously cut it like, but you don't want to see me like you don't want to see the fucking pause screen for like 10 minutes before I return back to the game. There you go. I really like this area as well. Like again, the fucking terrain here is fucking crazy. It's really cool. It's like really steep, whatever, like hills here, like very straight up hills. And by the way, quick life hack when it comes to Minecraft beta. When you I keep the F3 menu here like open just because it's like convenient, you know. It's like not just for coordinates, but and here's the life hack. You can see every entity's name tag or like number tag, whatever, a tag. So if you're exploring through caves and you know, the brightness is way too low, because that's what beta is like most of the time. Like with the caves, like a lot of the darkness is literally like pitch black, basically. Like nighttime is also pitch black. That's part of what makes it so scary, you know, but also like kind of iconic, you know. It makes the survival experience more like, I don't know, like intense in a good way, you know. It adds to the risk factor to survival, which is something that really just got undermined, obviously, as updates went on. Just, you know, it became a lot more, for lack of a better word, like sanitized. Like the game got more and more modernized, like, and made like accessible to like a bigger general public, aka children. And you know, obviously they removed a lot of like the aspects of the game that made it like legitimately challenging, and like to like new players. So, you know, that's something I would personally, you know, I personally prefer that in beta, like at least in part. as part of like making it like an actually challenging survival experience. It's just like one of those aspects that makes sense for, you know, a survival game to not. It sounds a bit redundant, but you know, you get the point. If you've played beta, and you prefer beta to like modern versions, which I'm kind of split on that. I understand why a lot of people consider this version like the golden age of the game. Oh my god. Oh fuck. Yeah, I forgot. Yep. This is when we get to the tragedy. I don't know how he got down there. Even when I was trying to fucking clear the floor, he moved into the other part. And oh man. God. Yeah. You saw me. You see my fucking mouse rage. Jesus Christ, that sucked. This is why, like, from this point moving forward, especially in alpha, because frankly, the AI for a lot of mobs in this version was really retarded. Like they just like would move anywhere, especially wolves. Like they would just move around anywhere, like no matter what. So I set the sign in memory of Dreiton. I later got a little flower for him, but Jesus Christ, like basically, yeah, the AI for mobs was really retarded during this version. So a lot of the time they would literally like wolves, for instance, would literally just like jump into lava or into anything. They would just move anywhere. So that sucks, but you know, at least I honored, you know, I honored them, and man, it's always sad, but yeah, I eventually got a lot more wolves later down the road. We'll get to that later again. I don't think that's even in this episode, but the point is that I was talking about beta Minecraft and like my I don't know, comparing it to like modern versions, because I've kind of gotten used to like I don't know, Minecraft since like 1.14, 15, 16. That was like what I considered to be like, and this may just be nostalgia, like the second golden age of Minecraft, like when they really locked the fuck in and like made really huge and like good transformative changes. Obviously, Village and Pillage completely revamped actually, yeah. I would also mention 1.13, which was the aquatic update. That was like a big shift after like a lot of the updates, like between 1.9 and 1.12, were just very underwhelming, very disappointing. And I say having played the game around that time, and there's a reason why it waned so hard in popularity between 2016 and 2018. Part of it is because a lot of content creators, a lot of Minecraft YouTubers were just turned out to be like pedophiles, and a lot of them just got very unmotivated to play the game too. And a lot of their viewers also grew up. Fortnite became more relevant with like Zoomers for a bit. It was a variety of things, you know, like that. And I don't know, for lack of a better term, Minecraft just wasn't cool anymore, you know, like for a time. And I would argue that the game is kind of going through a similar phase right now, which, I don't know, it's kind of debatable, but like what I'm getting at is that, you know, we kind of had like what I would consider the first golden age, which was like, I would argue, like parts of alpha, most of beta. Like with beta, the cool thing about beta is that you literally had like massive like game-changing updates like every other month, you know. Back then, like Notch and Gens, Mojang in general, but mainly Notch, just experimented with whatever the fuck they wanted. And, obviously they took suggestions from a lot of fans. It was a lot more directly community oriented in the sense that, obviously the community was smaller. So there was a lot more capacity for, developers to directly be in contact with fans, in a way that just is kind of impossible nowadays, or it just cannot be replicated, which is kind of why people feel so distant from, I don't know, a lot of players feel so distant from Mojang. They kind of see it as this bureaucratic corporation that doesn't really, I don't know, that is primarily motivated by I don't know, profits. Obviously, it's owned by Microsoft. And you can thank Marcus transphobic notch person for that decision. I guess. Thanks to them, we have the fucking marketplace. I was willing to be more, give Mojang the benefit of the doubt a bit more, back in 2019, 2020, 2021. I think a lot of people kind of got fucking sick of their shit by the time that the Wild update came out. That was 1.19, I believe. Cave noise, by the way. Fucking yeah, fucking cave noises compounded with this ambience. Are you fucking kidding me? No wonder there's a ton of horror mods. I've been watching a ton of horror mods recently. Anyway, the point I was in is that, I don't know, I feel like maybe the community now feels very distant from Mojang's decisions, and we're kind of back at the same place that we were when 1.9 came out. It felt like Mojang didn't give a shit about the community or about the game either. They just released very minor updates, minor or controversial updates, which, by the way, 1.9 was at the time basically the most controversial Minecraft update ever. It was a fucking, to a lot of fans it was 9/11. So including Techno, by the way. I remember seeing a lot of his commentary videos on it. I think when it came out I was pretty neutral on it. I was just excited that we had a new Minecraft update after so fucking long. I think the last update before that was 1.8 in late 2014, I think, or early 2015. Basically, Mojang went into a kind of stilted period after Mojang was sold to Microsoft. And what I'm getting at is dividing Minecraft into certain eras. People, and I personally would argue that this 1.7.3 was the peak of that kind of beta golden era. This is as far as you can get in Minecraft beta, before a lot of the big controversial changes were implemented, in 1.8, expansion of the ocean, the hunger system, a lot of lighting changes as well. I think there were a lot of texture changes too. Basically, it was the most transformative update the game had received by a lot. And it was initially kind of pretty, I don't know, it received a pretty mixed reception at first. Obviously, it kind of just became the status quo over time. People kind of just were used to it by the time that, I don't know, I don't even know when to determine, because obviously that was one of the first big splits in the community. Minecraft was no longer the same type of game, to put it like that. So some people would argue that that was the end of the the first golden age of Minecraft. For me, I I have mixed feelings because I started playing the game like in 1.5.2, like 2013. I had been in the community for a bit. Up to that point, like, I watched YouTube videos. I say I was in the community. I was like fucking 7 or 8 years old when I first learned of Minecraft. But I don't know, like, every time I returned to that version, there was something kind of off about it. Like, it was kind of, I don't know, like, it was pretty laggy. There was a lot of shit I didn't understand, especially since 1.5 was like the redstone update. And I wasn't very critical of it back then, but I clearly like had more fun returning to like older versions back then, you know? This was before 1.6 came out, and I think that's when a lot of community hype returned to the game. Like, a lot of people were pretty split when it came to like, you know, beta 1.8, basically from beta 1.8 up until like 1.5. Like, I think a lot of people felt like the game was going in a very different and in a lot of cases like less good direction in some ways. Like, the game was becoming more complicated, and I don't know, there were good additions, obviously, like, but I can't think of many off the top of my head. Like, there were, it was kind of like an expansion of beta changes, you know, at that point. Like, they were released frequently, but they weren't very exciting, you know, but they weren't enough to like tank the community. I think there's a reason why the community kind of peaked in like 2013, you know. That's when like 1.6 was released, and I would argue that was a pretty decent update. Like, that was like, I think, I remember horses were added. I remember, I think parts of the inventory were changed. Charcoal was added. Some, like, I think concrete was added in that not concrete. I think. What was it? Concrete? No. It was like a type of colored block. I don't remember right now, but basically, I remember like when. Oh yeah, and there were new flower types added. I remember. I really liked that. So yeah, like there were like pretty like good enough changes, you know, like 1.6, 1.7, 1.8. I remember 1.7 was a huge update, like for the biomes and for like the combat system. I remember that's when I played Minecraft the most. I remember that's when I was really, really big into like servers and like I don't know, like PvP, creative mode. Like, I did a lot of wacky shit, you know, in that update, and I think it got like stuck in 1.8 for a pretty long time. And I think 1.9 only released until like early 2016. And I still remember the community backlash, as I said earlier. And I don't know, I guess that was kind of like the breaking point for the game. It's like no update for a pretty long time. That was like the decision to sell Mojang to Microsoft was really, really controversial. I remember, and unfortunately, those people were right in the long term. In the short term, it wasn't that big of a difference, but you know, now we know that they would add the marketplace, you know, years down the road. So, you know, that we we can't all win, I guess. But the point is that, you know, the combination of those factors, like, I just heard the fucking footsteps and like gravel, and every time I hear those, I didn't react to it much here, like in game, but right now that I heard those fucking footsteps in gravel, I felt like I was playing a horror mod. Like, I was like, fuck, like there's a lot of weird glitches in beta that like really add to like this like unintentional horror ambiance. Obviously there's intentional horror ambiance with like the cave sounds, but like there's a lot of like bizarre glitches from this era that make it feel more like that make it feel like you're being watched, or you're being like there's someone else in the world with you. By the way, I toggle the render distance every now and then here, and the reason I switch it here in caves is because so I can see like the time in the surface. So fun fact, like you can see that when you set the render distance to tiny, like the fog will show what the time is like in the surface. So yeah, the point I was getting at is like the combination of like 1.9 being extremely fucking controversial, and the divisive elements of that update still splitting the community to this day. Cave noise. Combined with like creators getting creators like fucking Skydust Minecraft and people in his surroundings getting sick of the game, moving on to different content, and eventually getting outed as pedophiles. that was a whole thing with like Lion Maker as well. But I guess he's like the biggest representation of that. But there were a ton of YouTubers who, like Minecraft YouTubers who, had their controversies, and it would only get worse with time, you dream, fucking Wilbur, we'll get that comes way later. But the point is that the community generally was like way in decline very quickly. And I remember like by 2016, 2017, 2018, admitting that you played Minecraft was just like uncool. It was it was seen as like a loser game again, and not like once the most popular game of all time. Below Tetris, and that was before that was before 2019. But the point is that, it's just the community basically kind of then like stopped caring more and more because Mojang stopped caring even more, and that's really, that's when we see like kind of the first dark age in the game. And as I said, like, I think it took until like the aquatic update and like with 1.13 that, for one, it felt like Mojang started to give a shit again about the game. Like actually making like huge transformative updates and like planning them out properly. I think that's around the time when they started to talk about like how they would plan their updates like 2 years ahead of time, and like start pushing forward more and more ambitious concepts. Like, again, the aquatic update was very necessary. Like, you're gonna notice in this world how how empty the oceans are, and that was the case for like most of the game's existence, at least like between 2010 2009 up until like 2018. Yeah, for like 9 years of the game's existence, the oceans were hollow, like ocean wastelands, basically. And the aquatic update added so many cool fucking additions, like obviously dolphins, variations in like ocean types, coral reefs, treasures, drowned zombies, which are really cool, like in their design. Can you tell that I really like teal or aquamarine colors? You know, they're pretty cool. But the point is that I feel like that is when Mojang really started to kind of like put in more effort into like making big transformative changes to the game. And of course, eventually we got, you know, Village and Pillage, which is, I think, when most people started to notice like those changes and notice, goddamn, the game has changed quite a lot, actually. Like, keep in mind, like, a lot of players just stopped playing altogether by the time of 2016. Like, after 1.9, a lot of players just gave up on the game. So, seeing the game, like, just, like, in this better, like, evolved form, with, like, you know, cool new additions, like, you know, obviously the villagers and the fucking, with the villages, like the revamp to the trading system, the fucking improved terrain generation. You know, there was a lot of you know, kind of big stuff that brought the community back in. Obviously there was also, you know, SMP Live around the same time, and eventually PewDiePie also got into playing the game. Fucking PewDiePie. Anyway, the point is that that's around the time when the community experienced kind of like a renaissance in a way. I don't know, like I kind of colloquially refer to it as like the second golden age in a way, because I feel like it kind of felt like the game went through like like a transformation that previously seemed impossible. Like it basically like revived the game, and the community, a lot of excitement was brought back in, a lot of new creators you know, came about, or at least like started getting noticed a lot more visibly, like obviously Techno, though he had been at it for a while, but like I feel like 2019 was like his time when he began to really shine in the spotlight because of Minecraft Monday, and a lot of people noticed how fucking good he was at the game, like how inhumanly good he was. You know, of course he was a legend, but and also extremely funny. Like, goddamn, rewatching his videos now. Obviously, there was a reason he popped off as much as he did. He's like one of the best examples of like YouTubers that came from this generation. Also, you know, like Tommy Innit, Schlatt. You know, I'm mentioning the ones that aged well. Yeah, also maybe Buffy. It's like, you know, YouTubers like that I really I still watch to this day. Like, they're very, obviously they've moved on to very different content now. A lot of them kind of resent Minecraft, namely Schlatt, obviously. He still likes the game, it's just the community completely fucked him over. Well, not like fucked him over, but he got tired of them. Kind of rightfully so. But, you know, unfortunately they also had their fair share of, you know, bad people. That comes up later. But the point is that, at least for me, I remember that period of like from like 1.14 to like 1.16 very fondly. That was like, okay, please. That was like, I don't know, obviously I have nostalgia for 2019 in general. That was like a pretty great year for me. But I remember like Minecraft coming back at the same time that I was having like my own kind of I don't know, my own kind of artistic renaissance, like in my own personal history. It kind of felt like you know, like a lot, like parts of me were healing very significantly, and don't know, I just remember it very... I remember it very fondly because of those two factors mainly. I remember like I got obsessed with playing the game in 1.14 especially. Like I remember like seeing the new textures was so felt so fresh. It gave me so many new creative ideas. Like for like my worlds, I got invested in playing survival again and like hardcore mode. I don't know, like I just it felt like a part of me was like I don't know, like I felt kind of like rejuvenated. Fucking iron left it fell over. Oh. Anyway, the point is I still love that era for those reasons mainly. Even like the Fuzzy Bees update, even though most people consider it to be like a nothing burger kind of, or at least when it came out, people saw it that way. Obviously, bees are like the cutest moth ever. But they also made a ton of like basic like patches to you know, the game's like rendering. They made a lot of they fixed a lot of bugs more than anything. That's kind of the main reason why, like, why it was kind of colloquially known as like kind of like the bug update, but like paradoxically, like obviously bees were the main attraction of the game, but they also took advantage of that to fix basically as many fucking bugs as they could, which I noticed especially because of how much better my game ran after that update came out. Like, keep in mind, like, for the most part, like, during my childhood, I had, like, at best, a Windows 7 PC. Not PC, but, like, a computer. Like, desktop computer. And a Windows XP. So, yeah, my Minecraft ran like a fucking slideshow for most of my life. So, seeing it actually run, like, competently, plus the fact that I got a new like Windows 10 laptop like in late 2019 was very useful, even though it broke almost immediately once I tried to play Minecraft with shaders on it. that was a main that was like one of the reasons why it's failed for a bit, like in early 2020 and later in 2021. But anyway, at least now I have a PC with like 16 RAM, and back then at most I had 4 gigabytes of RAM. But the point is that like that was like I loved playing that update, like 1.15, and I remember I made a ton of survival worlds in that version. In part because, yes, obviously that was like the version during the early pandemic. I think this was before even the Nether update snapshots started releasing. So I have a lot of fun memories from 1.15, but things could get even better with 1.16, which I think is like unanimously considered like the best recent update in the game's history. Like, they, goddamn, the amount of like for one, obviously the changes to the Nether and them adding a whole new tier of like mineral above diamonds, for the first time since I guess the game's creation. Was huge. The new biomes, the fucking Bastion, dude. God, I remember when this shit was getting rolled out, like, as it was being announced. And then, like, getting really excited for the new snapshots, experimenting with those features. God, it was really fun, It was very fun. And it was a great time to be, like, a part of the community. And I think that is kind of when this like renaissance, this like Minecraft renaissance kind of peaked. You know, like a lot of the community kind of unanimously loved it, you know, for good reason. And people were excited to where the game would go next. For better or worse. So, man. You know, considering that the following update would get like, you know, for a variety of behind the scenes shenanigans, it got botched, you know, and we didn't know what the fuck was happening as it was happening. You know, I guess the next point of like hype within the community was obviously when the cave update was announced. That was like a long time coming for us too. Like we really wanted the Nether update eventually. We didn't know when we were gonna get it, and then it was just announced like in 2019, you know. So that shit was like that was like huge, obviously. But then there was also the you know, the long-awaited fucking cave update that we had been begging for almost a decade up to that point. That was like the 2019 was the fucking 10-year anniversary of the game, and you know, it's pretty fitting that soon after that is when they announced the cave update, like the main mechanism of the game. And as you can see with these caves, like at least in beta, they kind of stayed the same for the most part up until 1.16. Like, yeah, they added like, I don't know, fucking diorite, andesite, like new stone types, which are cool. I like diorite and andesite. Or what is the cave noise. Sorry. Every time I hear cave noises in beta, I get like a little bit like freaked out. Like I get like goosebumps a little bit. It's especially terrifying in this version. But anyway, the point is that you know, we had been waiting for that, like for any like significant changes to the caves. I guess we also, you know, obviously had mine shafts. That's a creeper. What the fuck else? Like, well, dungeons had been there since like day one, basically. I think that was like one of the first structures added to the game. But yeah, that was kind of like the two main things that caves existed for. And I would argue like the best version of those caves was ironically this, you know, in 1.7 because of how illumination used to work. Like the fact that caves, like the dark spots would look so fucking like terrifyingly, like horrifyingly actually, like horrifyingly dark. Like you had like the mystery of it. Obviously you can cheat with this, like and show the fucking tags of each mob, and that's what I do so I don't fully shit myself. But like the fact that caves were this dark and this mysterious, you know, added to it a lot. Like it made caving terrifying. It made caving horrifying. Because the main difference between horrifying and terrifying is with horror. The thing with horror is like what you can't see, right? It's the fear of the unknown. Whereas terrifying is the fear of what you can see and what is like, you know, what evokes fear as you look at it. You know, it's or I guess like, I don't know. It's complicated. I watched a video on that explained it better. But the point is, I think that's why beta was like so good with you know, this type of horror in the caves, and it makes caving like mysterious and you know, like terrifying. It's also what made the Nether so scary back then. You know, it's like it was also useless, but basically besides like beating the game, but like before the, you know, like in beta, like the Nether was pants-shittingly dark, and that combined with fucking ghasts. I tried to get this fucking creeper to fall in the lava, but he wouldn't budge. I did that with another mob later down the line, but whatever. The point is that, what the fuck was I saying? Type shit. Oh yeah, is that like the Nether was like pants-shittingly scary back then, because of like again, like the illumination, like the poor illumination. Not to mention if you had to play with your low render distance, like those are the two main factors that made off like beta like comparable to a horror game, you know. It's why like people say it has like big Silent Hill vibes. So yeah, obviously the Nether and caves are objectively better now, you know, even if some changes were better than others. But at least the Nether update was like one that people unanimously kind of loved, you know, like including me. But the cave update was rolled out very, very chaotically. Like they announced a ton of shit in like Minecraft Live 2020. And speaking of that, I will never ever forgive Dream for getting the glow squid to win over the fucking isolager. I will never forgive him for that. I don't care what you say, I don't care what your opinion is. I fucking hate that he is like the main reason, and a couple of other YouTubers, but Dream was like the biggest. Don't fucking lie to me, man. Yeah, we all know that Dream was the big Minecraft YouTuber at the time, and him saying vote glow squid, spam vote for the glow squid, obviously was like the main thing that carried it over the finish line. For better or worse, for worse in my opinion, but you know, I don't know. I guess at least we got cool glowing signs and a variation of squids in the ocean. That's fine, I guess. I really wanted the isolager, genuinely. I really, really wanted the isolager. That would have been a cool, like, kind of boss fight kind of entity, you know? Like, I like that, you know? I love survival, you know? And like boss fights and shit like that. Well, I don't know. Like, I like the survival experience in general. I think the isolager would have been better for it. But anyway, this is how I epically trolled the zombie. Got him. Anyway, the point is, yeah, you know, that was a huge drop, even if that was like, I guess that was like the first disappointment in a line of disappointments that followed. And again, I had very mixed feelings on this as it was happening, and those mixed feelings, I think, have only grown more and more negative within the community. Like, I feel like a lot of people just have become more and more disconnected with every newer version of the game. Like, apparently the newest version is like not even 1.26 or 1.20 fucking whatever. I think it was supposed to be 1.22 or something. So, oh, I got jump scared again. The fucking zombie got piece of shit. Anyway, the point is that that caught me so off guard. Anyway, the point is that like yeah, like apparently the newest version is like 26.1, and apparently that wasn't in April Fools. They actually are naming it that. So that's fucking weird. I don't know. I don't get it. I've been so out of touch with like the newest like developments in the game that I just like, I don't know, I'm kind of just zoned out. I'm stuck. Whenever I do go to modern versions, I play like 1.21.4. I'm stuck on that one specifically. Like, I don't know, like, for one, it's because I have a ton of mods there specific to that version, and I've tried to find, like, copies for them, but they just don't exist, you know, like, the mod rinse community just hasn't kept up with the newest versions. And the fact that it's getting weirder and weirder, like the numbering system is just completely new now, apparently. It's just fucking, I don't know if they're gonna keep it that way or if they're gonna do it, but the point is I've just zoned out from a lot of the newest changes. It's not to say there aren't any positives. I've seen some from like Waddles or IBX Toy Cat, but I don't know. I'm just kind of not interested, at least, like in what Mojang is currently doing, and honestly, I've kind of felt that way since 1.19. Like, well, for one, that was the update when they introduced the worst feature in the game, the chat reporting system. And now down the line, now we know that's like the same kind of like rules that led to fucking 2B2T to get fucking nuked, and Anarchy servers in general. And not to say that 2B2T had the, you know, best community, but it was like a staple of Minecraft, like undeniably. It was like a huge part of like the community of like Minecraft's identity as like I don't know, like community-oriented game, you know. Obviously, like 2B2T was like kind of like, for lack of a better word, like the 4chan side of that. But I still think it was very interesting. I think it was like a really like, I don't know, like interesting experiment for Minecraft to have. Like community like that to exist in a game was kind of like inevitable, right? So the fact that they're like now going all out with like banning fucking Anarchy servers in general is kind of fucked up. Like, I don't know, it feels very antithetical to, it feels like a fucking slap in the face to people who, I don't know, want to keep the community alive. I don't know. The point is, and you know, I say that as a leftist, you know, I obviously have my, you know, I obviously, you know, think that, like, obviously not all fucking speech should be, like, just let loose, like, I don't know, like bullshit, like from like to call back to 4chan. But that wasn't all that 2B2T was, you know. That obviously was like a big part of the community because obviously it was like the main Anarchy server. And obviously with that you're gonna have a bunch of insane shit happening there. But ultimately I think the community, at least what I saw of it, like FitMC, or I think there was another YouTuber, Phoenix, or Mr. I forgot his name, but like there were YouTubers who covered that, and I kind of agree with their criticism, and like Minecraft shutting down, like Mojang shutting down fucking Anarchy servers as a whole is fucking insane. Like, I don't know, as I said, like, yeah, like, I just don't agree with it from like, I don't know, like, I feel like it's just too fucking arbitrary for the game, and it also like kind of kills any sense of like connection with the community or like trust within the community. Like worsening the already lower trust that the community has felt since, you know, the split of the cave update. Basically, it got split in 3 parts, and even by the 3rd part, we still didn't get everything. We later got like archaeology, and that was kind of, I don't know, underwhelming in the end. Like, it sounded cool in concept, but once I actually got at it, it kind of just, I mean, I've seen some cool videos about it. Like, I think I watched like a real archaeologist. I forgot his channel name. I'll shout him out when I remember. But it was like this archaeologist that made like a whole video series about like how real archaeologists uncover like ruins, and like showing that like step by step within Minecraft, like using the ruins in the game as an example, and that was really cool. I think it was like a 10-part series, but it was really entertaining, especially since I'm a pretty big fan of archaeology in general, but also like, I mean, usually in the context of human evolution and generally evolutionary biology. But I also think it's really interesting as a historian as well. I'm not a historian, but like I'm very hyper fixated on history, and mainly Roman history. Like at least of like, when I think of like really cool history, my first thought is like Rome and its history, because I've studied it so fucking much. It's also a pretty good example of like I don't know, like what to avoid so your civilization doesn't decline. You know, something I wish America could recognize right now. You know, right now its empire is getting raped to death. So I would a lot of them could use some lessons from history, like how retarded emperors and contradictions within its system ultimately and infrastructural decay, don't forget that, like basically will eventually lead to your fucking empire just collapsing altogether. But anyway, that's very off topic. But the point is that I love archaeology for both of those aspects mainly. But anyway, the point is that like once that update came out, I think it was 1.20. I guess I just felt pretty underwhelmed by it, and I still kind of am. Like, I don't know, like I don't even know right now, like off the top of my head, what they added in 1.21. That's the main modern version that I play. I think it's alright, but I added a ton of mod. Like legit, this was like the first time that I ever added mods to the game. You know, God, 12 years of playing this game, I just got used to the pure vanilla experience. Like legit, I literally would not add mods at all. I didn't even know how to do it for most of the time. And even when I did, I didn't find it particularly interesting. But then I, got interested in adding like basic stuff like sodium and lithium to fucking make the game, like optimize the game in general and make like the gameplay experience more fluid. And then that jumped into like a bunch of other little I don't know, I guess quality of life stuff, like adding certain like F3, showing certain aspects of like F3, like I don't know, coordinates or biomes or the current time. I don't know, like it's even now it's been like small stuff like that. And I think 1.21 is like a fine version, right now. I have no idea what's being added in the newest versions. I do know they added like little baby like yellow chickens, which are really cute. Also, I think 1.20 was the version where they added the cherry blossom. So obviously it was iconic. But yeah, I don't know. It just kind of got after a while, I just didn't care too much anymore. I mean, I'm glad the community is still at least like, it hasn't reached like the lows, for instance, of 2018, though it does seem to be going in that direction if Mojang keeps, like, I don't know, fucking up, you know. And them removing anarchy servers is definitely like an indicator of them not giving a shit about the community anymore, or at least not as much as they claim to, you know, they used to claim, you know, back in like 2019, 2020, or 2021 even, like, despite how much they were fucking up with the rollout of the cave update, Agnes would still, like, come to bat and be like, guys, we're a little overworked, we kinda, you know, we kinda fucked up on the rollout, but, you know, we're going to split these updates, I'm sorry, but we're trying our best, and it seemed pretty sincere. I wish they had planned it out better from the start, you know, like, I don't know, akin to, like, the sequel trilogy of Star Wars. That's another thing I'd like to talk about someday. But, I feel like it kind of had the same issues that that trilogy had to name, like, a kind of generic example. You know, maybe if you hadn't, you know, overworked yourself and given yourself, like, way too short of a deadline, especially for an update as ambitious as the fucking cave update, like, basically completely revamping the entire generation system. Like, it wasn't just caves, it was caves and cliffs, you know, and a lot of that generation at first was very wonky, you know. It was pretty, like, you know, you can tell they were struggling to implement it, like, cohesively within, like, existing worlds, but also, like, in general, like, sometimes the generation would just completely break down. I think and Venom made a pretty great video about that. I'm sure they've patched it ever since. I haven't seen as many glitches like that anymore. However, I have noted. Ooh, diamonds! I got fucking diamonds. Yeah. It took what, like, an hour into this video to finally find diamonds. I found a lot more later, but yeah, man. Finding diamonds back then was so fucking exciting, you know? Like, I don't know, I feel like after Netherite, like, finding diamonds is like, well, not after Netherite, it was still kind of like the same basic cave system. But now with, like, huge caves, it's comparably easier to find diamonds, you know? And obviously you can also, like, strip mine or whatever, which is what I'm doing here. That's the easiest way to get it, and I mostly strip mine just so I don't have to get, like, lost or carried away. It also doesn't help that a lot of these caves kind of had, like, very weak dead ends. So yeah, back then, like, if you weren't, like, strip mining, finding these was kind of complicated, you know, obviously. And that was intentionally by design, and I think that obviously added to how iconic they were, and you know, like, I don't know, rare, though. You know, fun fact that I learned from IBX Toycat, finding diamonds, I think, like, pumpkins are rarer than diamonds in Worlds, like, to this day, I think. And I assume that was the case back here too, though I don't remember what the odds for finding pumpkins and diamonds was in beta. But, you know, there was clearly a lot more excitement back then to fucking, you know, to find these. Even now, playing these again, like, finding diamonds feels so fun, you know. But anyway, what I was talking about was that, like, God, I don't know, it's like thinking about, like, the eras of Minecraft. I think the broad point that I was getting at is that I feel like right now we're currently at a kind of, I don't know how to describe it. I don't think we're quite like in the lows that the game reached like in like what, 2018, 2019. Like there were still a lot of players back then, but not a lot of enthusiasm within the community. Like a lot of the community was basically dead. And a lot of people moved on to other stuff, mainly Fortnite, you know. Even Technoblade, funny enough, for a brief time, like 2018, switched to fucking like Fortnite, which is pretty funny. I play Fortnite and Minecraft. I think we've reached a point where it's like both communities are basically like kind of one and the same. Like basically all my friends that I play, that I used to play Minecraft with, since a lot of them just don't play it all together anymore, but a lot of them I play Fortnite with nowadays, and that started ironically in early 2024 when I found out about Lego Fortnite. And that was my new hyperfixation. Obviously, I've never fully left Minecraft behind, but I feel like Lego Fortnite kind of scratched an itch that I didn't really know I had until I played it. Like, it like, I don't know, it was like I don't know how to describe it, like a more accessible, and I don't know, like, it's hard to describe. It's like a more accessible and semi-realistic version of Minecraft in some ways. Obviously, it's like never gonna replace Minecraft altogether, but at least for me, like for a good time in 2024, I played like Lego Fortnite like for like way more time than I did Minecraft that year. You know, I still hopped onto Minecraft every now and then, but Lego Fortnite and you know, Zero Build was my shit like that year. Like I kind of that's when I stopped keeping up with like a lot of, you know, the new stuff in Minecraft, basically, or at least everything post like 1.21. I don't know. I guess what I've found joy in has been like, or at least the parts of the community that I usually get around in, is like the, I don't know, the old / mystery related side of the community. Obviously, I love, you know, I'm a big fan of internet horror. You know, I remember my Herobrines and my Null type shit. Those are you know, those are classic creepypastas for a reason. Though Null like less so, but you know, he still gets referenced in a lot of modern Minecraft horror. Even more so than Herobrine nowadays, mostly because he's more of like he's more obscure, at least in Herobrine, right? So he's like incorporating him into your horror mod doesn't feel as tacky as putting in Herobrine, I guess, and mainly because of popularity. But the point is that I've really, like, the parts that I get around with the most has been like I don't know, like retro gaming now, Trony Sauce. I've recently gotten big into this YouTuber. It's like this transfemme YouTuber. I think she's called the Mighty Nebby, and for one, she's very funny, you know, like a kind of dry humor kind of way. But she's also like makes a lot of mod related videos, and there's one that really fucking got me. It was the fucking I think it was the Minecraft. What was it like? I think she made like a mod pack where she requested like all 100,000 of her subscribers to fucking request whatever mod they wanted to add to a single mod pack, and in the end she got like 400 mods in total within one mod pack, which turned out as psychotically insane as you can expect, as you expect it to be. And it reminded me of how fucking susceptible I am to like random funny incoherently insane humor, you know, like, I don't know, like, I guess my best point of reference is like fucking SMG4. It's like that kind of like fucking insane, completely off the wall kind of shit. Fucking headphones are running out of battery. I'm gonna fucking change them real quick. So, as I was saying, by the way, yes, rest in peace to SMG4. Long live the shitpost, randomness and modnar kind of type of humor that I watched when I was 8 years old. Seeing naked Mario get called a fat Italian retard when I was 8. Long live. Yeah. Basically the mod pack reminded me of that because it was so insanely incoherent and like borderline unplayable that it was like unfathomably funny, you know. I don't know. It's that type of shit that like gets me like in a non-stop laughter kind of way. I also brought some gummy worms. I've been talking like I said all that shit in one take. I'm getting water. Yeah, for most of this sequence, I'm literally just like strip mining. I cut a lot of stuff from here, like just because literally most of this was just mining stone and gravel, replacing parts of my inventory. So I just cut like right into the like the parts where I find like important ores, or you know, or diamonds. I got pretty lucky with the fucking strip. Sorry if I don't sound good right now. Got the gummy worms. But goddamn, you know, right now I wish I had like a fucking Twitch or TikTok chat that I can interact with. You know, I really wanted to get into like streaming, like way back when I dropped the Euphoria AP. Like part of that rollout was that I wanted to get into streaming, like both for gaming but also for talking about my music and the making of my music like with a live audience. And unfortunately didn't get as much traction as I wanted it to get. But that wasn't really the thing that stopped me. It was also that my granny would not leave me alone. Like during recording sessions, like even like I'm surprised right now that she hasn't interrupted me, because every time I record and I'm talking like out loud, she always like busts into the room without even like knocking, so she'll just appear in the corner like a fucking ghost. That got annoying very fast when I try to stream. So I decided, well, I guess I decided like a year and a half later that, you know, I guess I can settle with like doing like, you know, like gameplays and stuff like this where I'm just like, I don't know, like originally I wanted this to be like with no commentary, and I would just like, I don't know, just like show my gameplay, but I felt like it was more, yeah, just speed through this. It's literally just walking in a straight line. But, I thought, yeah, like this would be like kind of too boring without commentary, I guess. And there's like too much editing to be considered like just like pure gameplay, you know? I don't know. I think this is a more fun format for me, since I just like, for one, I love yapping. So I obviously have my limits. Right now I'm. Oof. Oh yeah, I got jump scared by this motherfucker. Fucking Christ! Even with the lava, it fucking blew. It got one heart, half a heart from me. Jesus fucking Christ, you know. That's also a thing, and I think this is like common to every version of Minecraft. It's just like getting jump scared by creepers. It's like a long time, you know, tradition in the game. Like from day one, as soon as creepers were added, as soon as Notch fucking got that fucking pick texture wrong, we've been jump scared by these motherfuckers. But anyway, I think this is finally when I get out of the cave and I just like look for the entrance. Oh gosh, a ton of shit. I've recorded like 3 different videos for this, for like screen capture. And in total, 3 of them were like 17 gigabytes. Fucking Christ. In case you're curious about what the video making process for these are, just right now I'm just switching shit around, type shit. You know, I also wanted to talk about, just to take a quick chance here, since this is probably the first thing I'm gonna upload, before everything else. I got a ton of projects coming up. I guess spoiler alert, since I haven't, at least right now that I'm recording, I haven't announced them, but right now, I guess, might as well talk about it. Since I've been wanting to do a lot more like side projects, since, you know, for the past, I don't know, like few years I've been mostly focusing on the main projects that I've had in the past like decade, really. Like mainly my music, my illustrations, my writing. That's mainly the thing that those are the 3 main like things I'm passionate about and that I practice like all the time, basically. Like my music production, my writing. I love illustrating, and obviously now I study graphic design, so that's like part of my that's literally part of my professional career now as well. And I've had a lot of fun with it, to be fair. Like, but I've also like wanted to have like side projects like these, like let's plays, where I just like get to, I don't know, like for one, fucking play Minecraft. So, like even now, this is my favorite game ever. Like it really is. And again, even if I'm not completely down with like most of the modern shit and yeah, I don't know, like Minecraft Bedrock is kind of like unplayable right now, so I hadn't even touched that recently. But returning to beta has been so fun for me recently, even if it doesn't have as much stuff in it, like, I don't know, structures or generally things to do. It also kind of makes my creativity go in much wackier directions, to put it like that. It makes me do like stuff like this, like what if I go all the way to the fucking Farlands? What if I make like a nomadic world where I literally just like keep moving further northwest? And oh yeah, this is when I try to I tried making a fucking redstone block in this fucking version. Those weren't added until like fucking 2013, like in 1.5. Was it even? Was it in 1.5 or 1.6? I don't remember. I do know that coal blocks were added in 1.6, but I don't remember if redstone blocks were added in 1.5 or 1.6. But yeah, my dumb ass tried to. Every now and then I make mistakes like that in this version. It's like I have to look for the crafting recipe circa 2011. But yeah, I mainly made this base because I wanted to like mine for a bunch of stuff, like mainly because in this version you really needed good armor, or you could like die very easily. It's like insane how dangerous this fucking version was. Obviously the mob spawns, mob AI was way more chaotic, and yeah, it just this is one of my favorite songs in the old soundtrack, you know. So like perfectly encapsulating the type of nostalgia that this game produces, you know, especially this version, but generally this is like peak Minecraft nostalgia because of how like cute and cathartic it is, you know. Also got some clay for so I could build with bricks later. I made a huge structure with bricks later, but I wanted to start off with like a mini brick house or a mini brick hut, more like. My god, yeah. It's stuff like that, you know. Like fucking melodic progression is so emotional, you know. There's a reason why that's like the main song that's used in like nostalgia Minecraft videos. And also speaking of like, I don't know, projects that I've had on the lookout for the future, I think besides this Let's Play, and making this has made me consider also like making similar Let's Plays like in my modern worlds, like maybe even giving like a tour of worlds that I still have available, you know, maybe even like old copies of other ones that I had. I might get big into that this year, but I'm also pretty busy right now with like another side project that I have that I want to release this week is also like reading sessions for the Hunger Games. That will make sense once the episode is out, since I explained it way better in detail there. But like, I recorded like the first reading sessions for them last month, like before the Super Bowl. So I referenced that in the episode. But I'm gonna release those first 2 episodes, and I'll get back to the reading sessions. Right now, I've gotten very invested with Minecraft and gaming in general. I've downloaded a lot of weird games recently on my phone since I finally got a new phone, so I have a ton more storage. I have twice the storage that I used to have in my old phone. So I've gotten a lot of, I know, weird games like merge games, like Tasty Travel, I think one's called. You know, I like to dabble and slop every now and then, just because my autistic brain loves to fucking merge colors and shit like that, merge drinks type shit. So I've been having a lot of fun with gaming, but I also, you know, obviously I want to improve like my literacy, and in a way, like with the Hunger Games, go back to my roots, since that was like the first saga of novels and movies that I really got invested in, like in a very profound way, like both aesthetically and artistically, cinematographically. It was like the first franchise that really sparked something in me in a way. So I thought, you know, considering that we're reaching the 10-year anniversary of this, like, well, not 10-year anniversary, that was last year, but like, this is my 11th artistic year. So this feels like a kind of like a spiritual, I don't know, recreation of my first artistic year, which was 2016. This feels like it's like its spiritual successor now. I also, considering that, I don't want to spoil my album too much yet. I've been working on that very hard. I even teased that in my most recent shit post of the 100 subscriber special. That was a blast to make. But the point is that I got like I've gotten really invested in that. That's like the top project for the year by far, and it was a project that was supposed to come out last year, you know, but for a variety of reasons that I've explained ad nauseum, you know, like my music not getting the reception that I wanted it to get in the past, and getting way too fucking unhealthily obsessed with critical reception. It made like working on music last year like impossible. Like I literally only wrote like 3 songs for the album in the entirety of last year. And keep in mind that, again, not to spoil too much, but it's gonna be an 11 song album, and I only wrote 3 of the fucking songs. I did make the composition for the intro, which I have already teased a little. But that was it. Like literally, I only worked on 3 songs, and just in the past 3 months alone, I've already written like 9 of the 11. 9/11, I know. But yeah, it just that's like the main ambitious project I have for the year. But I also considered, you know, stuff like the Hunger Games makes me reconnect with the era that the album is based around, since a lot of my music is based directly around events from my life, and they're like kind of like abstracted reinterpretations of those events within its own universe. So this first album is mainly going to delve into what my life was like in 2016 and how my first relationship developed in a way, you know? Or at least that's going to be the central thematic focus of it. Or at least of the main drive of the story. So that has been, you know, it has been very fun to write, at least. Like, actually writing and coming up with melodies is something that I've gotten very good at, and something that I've always, like, really enjoyed about, you know, like, music. Obviously, melodies are, like, the main thing. There's a reason Avicii is my favorite artist of all time, even to this day, or at least the most influential artist of my life. And it's because he was, like perfect when it came to, like, melodies. He was, like, one of the best mainstream EDM artists, mainly because of how detail-oriented he was, both in melodies, in his instrumentals, in his variations in genres. Like, he was very good at that. I don't know why my phone automatically got set to fucking sleep mode. Fucking hell. Anyway, but yeah, it still inspires me mainly in that way, and I think he's, like, in terms of mainstream pop artists, he was, like, one of the best when it came to EDM production and melodic emphasis. The creeper was looking at me funny. This is when my game started to lag a lot. Fucking Christ. I don't know why after a certain point, and maybe it's like the memory usage. Like, the further I went into the world and the longer I played, like, in a single run, the more it started to lag. So even though this is like a fucking version from 2011 and now I have 16 gigabytes of RAM, I guess it can't always be perfect. By the way, right now that I'm eating gummy worms, shout out to fucking Sweet Shop, whatever, for making the best fucking flavor of gummy worms in human history. Or at least the best type of gummy worms in human history. This is like sour gummies with, like, I think they're made from, like, real juice. And you can tell they're very, for lack of a better word, juicy. They're very juicy. I love them. It should help me survive, by the way. Like, when I was working at a call center a couple years ago, like in 2023, I worked at TELUS, and my god, my sleep schedule got fucked there. Like, keep in mind that was before I had meds. Also, I had to get up at like 3 a.m. to arrive there at 5. And then work until like 3 p.m. That shit was hellish. But these gummy worms and Monster Energy, especially the pink transgender color, was essential in my survival experience there, you know. I've been kind of head empty for a good couple minutes, but I guess it's mainly because I'm taking in like the terrain, but also like, I don't know, something that kind of has bothered me a little bit has been like going through this world. There's been like how fucking repetitive the terrain is. Like, it's basically like the same. What, like there I think there were like 4 biomes in this version. I don't remember, but like it does get pretty repetitive after a while, but I mean, it makes sense for the version that this was, right? It was pretty, despite it being like 2 years into its development, it was also very it was still pretty bare bones, and it was still like, I don't know, still like barely expanding from its like basic like its basic principles, you know. And I feel like that only changed into like what, like for one, like 1.8, I think that's when they added swamps too, and they added like prototypes of villages. And I don't know, like the lack of like villages, of like terrain. There is a lot of terrain variation, I will say that, but like the lack of biome variation, I think, is what I'm like thinking of. Does get pretty bare like the further you go around. And most people aren't gonna go around like this, you know. Most people are gonna stay like in their main base and kind of like expand from there, which is a pretty like a better way of playing the game, obviously. But it just you know, if you're like nomadic like this and you really want to explore the world, there really isn't much waiting for you there. You know, if you go far enough, as I said, like as the title implies, like it's like the road to the Farlands. I don't expect to get there even this year. You know, like there was like a streamer that I think literally spent entire months only walking to the Farlands, and they didn't get there until like I think months or years later. I don't remember, but I remember it was like a world record like a while back. But you know, I mainly wanted to do this for the experience of like again, like exploration, but also like seeing what my mind comes up with like the further I go into the world. And stuff like this, like what if I built like a mini brick hut, or later a brick structure, but we'll get to that later. The point is that I don't know, I guess the limitations of this version have made me like, and I think this is a common sentiment for a lot of beta players, is like those very limitations are what make it like as those very limitations are what make you like want to experiment and like maybe even like challenge the fundamentals of the game. Like the modern versions give you so many avenues of shit you can do, you know, to the point where like, I don't know, you're like overwhelmed, I guess, and you kind of just stick to one thing, or like you stick to the things you're familiar with more than anything. And I guess that kind of limits like the scope of the things you feel you're capable of creating, you know, ironically, despite the fact that you have more options than have ever been available in the game's history, you know. And I guess you could make like a societal I don't know, like analogy to that, I guess. I don't know how to explain that right now, but sunset looks pretty cool. By the way, like, I really, something I really do like about this version as well is like how weird the light, like how weird and stilted the lighting is. Like it kind of adds to the eerie atmosphere of this version, right? Even if that was kind of unintentional and part of like the limitations of the time. But I don't know, like that unique vibe of like certain parts being like illuminated, like certain chunks that are far out being like illuminated, and the ones close to you being darker makes it like kind of gives this like surreal feeling that I sometimes get watching sunsets like in certain areas, like whenever it's like super cloudy and it might be like really cloudy where you are, but from afar it looks like really vibrant and sunny. That kind of like it kind of replicates that surreal feeling, in a way that like my current Minecraft versions just can't, unless you, maybe with shaders you can, but like with certain shaders maybe. But in vanilla, obviously they've kind of like perfected the technique now, so now it's kind of just like a normal, it's kind of like the same sunrise and sunset every time, basically. But yeah, I don't know. That's kind of like a cool element of beta Minecraft that I've noticed. Like a weird quirk that I've noticed about like this version specifically. I don't know if this was still in 1.8, but like I don't even know if this is still in modern versions. I doubt it, but like you notice how in like snowy and desert biomes the sky looks like purple? Oh, by the way, these fucking wacky glitches. These fucking glitches, I assume they become more common the further out you go. Like right now, I'm at fucking, oh my god, like about 3,000 blocks out from spawn, which is like nothing when it comes to like the distance to the Farlands, but it does get weirder even at this point. I guess these glitches are still pretty common for beta Minecraft, but now that I notice it, I don't know if it's biome dependent, like the sky being purple. I think it's like the sky is like purple at noon, I think, in these versions. And then once it's past noon or prior to noon, it's like bright blue. Or like, yeah, like light blue. That's kind of a weird quirk that I've noticed playing these versions. It's kind of like, I don't think that's in modern Minecraft anymore, like unless you're playing with like shaders or something. But like, I think the sky mostly stays like a consistent color most of the time until like the sunrise and sunset, obviously. By the way, I'm walking around with a bone so I can like tame a wolf as soon as I can see one. Oh my god, I just don't know, the sky is fucking purple again, so I'm actually gonna Google that later. Like, what the fuck? Why is that? Okay, right now I'm gonna build a little brick hut in the ice, because fun fact, I think ice in this version, and I think even in modern versions, mobs don't spot like hostile. Mobs in general, I think, don't spawn on ice. So, that's a good quirk if you're desperate and alone at night. But let me check. Why is the sky in Minecraft beta purple? The purple sky in early Minecraft versions was primarily due to a biome-dependent lighting and rendering quirk that made the skybox appear as a bluish purple haze. This effect was most noticeable during sunrise, sunset, or in specific early iterations of world generation. Interesting. Anyway, so okay, I guess that's why. And here I set the exposure up a little bit because this fucking version was so dark that it was like it's like impossible to fucking play it like this. Also, breaking bricks took forever in this version. They made blocks very durable in beta. You can decide how I wanted to build the fucking floor, or like the structure of the base. Keep switching it around. Might as well build it as a cross instead. By the way, I'm mainly obsessed with crosses. Not just because of Christianity, but also because of my, I've made up like my own language of like starlation. It's for my novelization, but I made it in like 2018. And the first character, A, is a cross. And of course that's the first initial of my name, so that's like an indicator that I am there, or I was there. It's kind of like my signature around the world. I would also use these bases, now that I think about it. I would also use these bases as like place to set my spawn point. Kind of got tired of that after a while, so. But I think these are also good as like, I don't know, like benchmarks or like checkpoints in my world, if you would like want to follow my trail, instead of leaving like, I don't know, a trail of fucking torches or whatever. These could be like checkpoints in that journey. Time to get in the ever so reliable fucking boats from beta Minecraft. Hell yeah. God damn it. Oh yeah, it's so fucking annoying to try to sleep in old Minecraft because literally you could fucking fill the base with torches and you still get fucking annihilated by some fucking mob. Like, and no wonder they removed this feature. It was too difficult to fucking balance. See, even if you fucking illuminate your whole thing, it's like, nope, it's still nighttime. Fucking hell, then what's up? You're still nothing. Fuck. Finally, let's get the fuck out of here. Got him. Skeletons are still the most fucking annoying mob in the game, even now. At least back here their AI was too stupid to function. And now their AI is too good.
Oh!
6, 7. finally found some fucking ground where I can rest. Yeah, at this point I'm just gonna lay a bed and call it a day. So yes, thank you all for watching, and let me know if y'all enjoy the series. Yeah, good night.